Welcome in, everybody, to Sal Pal Friday here on the Sports Bash, brought to you by the New Jersey Department of Agriculture. Summer in the Garden State means Jersey fresh blueberries. They're bigger, more flavorful, and they're now available at your favorite market. Thank New Jersey farmers and buy Jersey fresh blueberries. So a busy week with the Eagles. Started with Brandon Brooks tearing his Achilles out for the year. The fallout from that, Doug Pederson spoke. We bring in Sal Paolantonio, ESPN's national NFL reporter, and he joins us for a special Sal Pal Friday here on the Sports Bash. Sal, how are you?
Michael, I am doing great, and I always look forward to a little Mike Gill on a Friday afternoon. Fantastic. You know, we're all hanging in there. We're trying to get from Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. I just turned 64, and my motto is stay alive till 65. That's it, baby.
I did see that was your birthday. Happy birthday again. I also sent you an email about your Uncle Bill's not going to open.
Oh, boy, I know. That was really sad. I mean, there's no tradition that I love more than going down to Avalon or Ocean City and having a stack of 10 silver dollar pancakes with my granddaughter with lots of extra syrup and butter. But, you know, listen, when Uncle Bill's comes back, they'll be back better than ever, and we'll all be going. And by the way, I heard your promotion for blueberries in New Jersey. Let me tell you, blueberries are one of my favorite foods, and wherever I go, I look on the label to make sure they're from Jersey.
Yeah, Hamilton.
They gotta say Hamilton and NJ on the package. Hamilton, NJ blueberries, and then I know they are going to be plump and juicy, and they're going to taste really sweet. You know, you get a lot of blueberries out there, and they're not that sweet. They're a little tart. But not from Hamilton.
Not from Hamilton. Nope, not at all. And that's the first time I read that, by the way. They must be new and on board. All right, so we got a lot happening here, Sal. I mean, it looked like it was the dog days of summer, which we typically, have no football. But the news of Brandon Brooks, how disheartening is this news for this Eagles offensive line?
Well, you know, it's very disheartening, and there's a lot of different ways that they can go. But now you have left tackle and right guard, Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, both uncertain, one out. You don't know what's going to happen with those two positions. It puts a whole lot of pressure on Jason Kelsey. It puts a whole lot of pressure on Lane Johnson, and it puts a whole lot of pressure on Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach. But here's what I think is the bottom line, you know, and they can try a lot of different permutations. They're talking about, hey, Jason Peters comes back, they plug him in at left tackle, you make Andre Dillard the right guard, or vice versa. Jason Peters is a little older, can't move as much. You take Dillard, you put him at left tackle, or you go with Matt Pryor, and a lot of different possibilities. But here is the bottom line. Number one issue is Carson Wentz continues to need to get the ball out of his hands quickly. You know, Tom Brady has played now until age 43 by getting the ball out of his hands in 2.2 seconds or less. That's the bottom line. He doesn't have a moving pocket like Drew Brees. He drops back or he's in the shotgun, and it is snap to release 2.2 seconds or less. That's the way you protect your quarterback, Mike Gill. Mm-hmm. And that's what they've got to start really thinking about and making sure that they pound that into Carson Wentz's head, and they also give him a design that gets the ball out of his hands quickly. If they do that, it won't be as big a loss in the passing game. Now, that's the key thing, in the passing game. In the running game, it's going to be a challenge, no question.
Yep, I was going to follow up with that. Matt Pryor played last year. Is he the guy that they anticipate, or do you feel that it's more likely they do have to go outside the organization?
I think you have to do both. I think, listen, if you look at the film of Matt Pryor, he is not athletic, but he's strong. You look at the tape of Matt Pryor, he is very good in the run game, but if you put him with an athletic defensive end over him, he will struggle, and he'll need double-team help with Jason Kelsey. So, of course, You got one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL in Jeff Stoutland, and you've got smart people running that offense. So you figure out how to help them. But listen, the bottom line is we just don't know what kind of shape these players are going to come in and what kind of classroom work and practice they're going to get because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So you got to at least have a contingency plan. It's got to be. I would sign Jason Peters yesterday and say, listen, we don't know where you're going to play, but we want you on our team for many reasons. One, great leadership in the locker room at a time of uncertainty. Two, you can play left tackle better than anybody, and in a pinch, we may need you to do that. Three, you might have to play right guard. Four, you can be a coach. You can help all these young players figure out Gillard how to play the nuances of the left tackle position. Matt Pryor, you can help him out, and then you can take some pressure off Jason Kelsey. Get Peters in the fold now.
That was going to be something, my question, I guess, is bring him in. You just laid out some great options, though. I was going to say, is he the answer to play right guard? But it's not necessarily because he's never played guard before. We had Trey Thomas on this week, and he said, it's not that easy just to go play left tackle. If Trey said, somebody asked me to go play right tackle, I'm going to have some issues making that transition. Can Jason Peters play the guard position?
Oh, listen, let me tell you something right now. Trey Thomas could play any position in the NFL. I would line up Trey Thomas anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Maybe not wide receiver or cornerback, but just about every other position. I've seen him throw a football, and he can throw it. Okay, he can spin it. He is a strong man. But listen, he's right, of course. It's not that easy, but if anybody can do it, it's a future Hall of Famer like Jason Peters. And I think, don't you think, Mike, that just having him in the locker room at a time of uncertainty like this is going to help the football team?
I mean, I think if anything, Sal, and we've talked about this week, is you use Matt Pryor, let's say, and then he gets hurt. The depth problem becomes a problem again. So having Peters adds to the depth that you're going to have an issue with.
No question. Agreed, 3,000%.
All right, 3,000%. I like that. Sal Pal Friday here on the Sports Bash. Do you look – is there any of the guys, that are available? Larry Warford, making a trade, or is it Peters or Pryor?
Yeah, I think you have to go out and try to, obviously it's hard now, right? Because you can't work guys out.
That's a problem, right?
Right. So the first thing that has to happen is what? You sign Peters, and he's a known commodity, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's look at Jalen Reagor. All right. Yesterday or Tuesday, I guess, when Doug Pederson spoke, he insinuated that he would kind of be following around Deshaun Jackson. So people got all concerned. Well, is he going to be a backup player? Is that the only position that he's going to learn? How did you read into Doug Pederson's take on Jalen's role?
Well, there's no question that he is the heir apparent to Deshaun Jackson. Mm-hmm. That's something that was clear. He's going to play. He's not a design slot receiver. He's going to be the X receiver who runs 9 routes on the edge. He's going to be a boundary receiver, and he's going to try to attract double coverage that will open things underneath for Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffery. This is one of the reasons why Doug Pederson has praised Alshon Jeffery, because they realize that they have Reagor and Jackson. Even if they're not, if they're on the field at the same time and they're both outside and they're both, attracting double coverage, then you have underneath available. And so there are a lot of different possibilities in the design of this offense. The other thing is you don't know how they're going to use Jalen Hurts, which I think is important. Where are you going to line him up, and how is he going to figure into things? I think, one of the reasons why these teams and the Eagles are included, Mike, are abruptly shutting down these off-season programs is because they realize they've sort of reached the limit of how much they can do virtually. You can't fake football.
Yep,
can't.
Doug's mentioned this grass time a lot. That's the new word of the offseason, not having the grass time. But one guy who's not going to have grass time for a while is Alshon Jeffery, and he insinuated that he would be a big part of the offense. Do you Agree with that. Do you see Alshon having a big role this season in whenever he gets back?
Right. So there's another aspect of it, grass time. We don't know when grass time is going to start. We don't know how long grass time is going to go. We don't know whether grass time will stop and then start back up. Right. So let's say the season goes into March because they have to shut down the season,
right,
like the Phillies shut down Clearwater today.
Oh.
Now all of a sudden you have Alshon available.
Possibility. So is that do you think that is a possibility that they? I know.
Of course.
We've said before that we think no way. That we thought no way, but now, I mean, you just mentioned the Phillies thing, the Tampa Bay Lightning. There's a golfer on the tour. I mean, has not been a good day if you're a sports athlete and the coronavirus.
Well, here's the thing. I have said all along they will start on time.
Yes,
that I have said. Because, you look at the schedule, Mike, and I've said this on your program, I think, 2 or 3 times before. You and I have looked at the schedule, and I think you're in agreement with me. You look at the schedule, Mike, there are division games in the first 2 weeks. And then weeks 3 and 4, the games are not that necessary to division play and division seeding. Mm-hmm. So you could start on time and then have a little fungibility in the schedule where you say, all right, weeks 3 and 4 are now dead. Now we're playing 14 games. Right. Or you move them and you're playing them on the back end of the season. All difficult to figure out at this point. I think I like what Dr. Alan Sills said yesterday after Dr. Anthony Fauci, the CDC director, a medical director, came out and said, I don't see how you can play football without the players being in a bubble. They have to do the NBA way to do things. And Sill said, we're going to have to be flexible and adaptable. Well, I'm going to add one other word to that, a word that I learned in the military. And the first word is you have to be vigilant, then flexible, and then adaptable to the circumstances like this. Because I think what we have learned from COVID, and of course, you and I are not medical experts, but I think what all of us have learned based on common sense and how we've dealt with this is this. The social distancing has worked. The lockdown has been very difficult and a challenge and onerous to people. And so how do you social distance in the NFL without locking it down? Mm-hmm. That's going to be the hard part.
Sure is, and there has been some conversations. I know your colleague at ESPN, Jeff Darlington, today talked about a bubble situation. I don't know how you bubble the football. I know basketball, I can see how you bubble basketball, but a bubble format for the NFL, do you see that as an option?
Sure. I mean, I think everything's on the table. Absolutely. I think they're trying to figure out exactly how to do this. But if you're not practicing, you're not playing.
No.
Because you're just not. You can't fake football, Mike Gill. You just can't. That's why you have these training camps that are tough.
And I know some of the coaches are privately now saying they don't know how this starts on time. So we'll see. That's something to keep an eye on. But happy birthday, belated, I guess. And a Sal Pal Friday, always a pleasure, a beautiful day. And happy Father's Day weekend to you there, Sal.
Yeah, and you know what I asked for Father's Day? A medium hot from Dunkin' Donuts and 2 plain donuts.
A side of blueberries with that as well.
Yeah, well, listen, I got to have my D&D on Father's Day. So that's what I asked for. Have my grandkids here, bring me some Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to be good to go.
Sal Paolantonio, everybody. Sal Pal, ESPN, Instagram. Look at his reaction to Brandon Brooks. Sal, pleasure, pal.
Hey, Mike, you have a good time down there, and listen, I'll talk to you soon. We'll talk when training camps start up.
Sounds good. Sal Paolantonio, everybody here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline.